Hello, everybody. Hi, I hope I'm loud and clear. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. First of all, I just want to say hi, guys. It's so good to see all these young faces. It reminds me of my childhood, which was not a long time back. Today, we are going to talk about something which everyone somehow has inside. Today, we are going to talk about identity. First of all, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am Krishna Kaul. I am neither too young nor too old. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'm 28 years old. And with God's grace, I am a very established television actor. And I've done a very good established television show which was called Kumkum Bhagya for 6 years as a hero. Today I'm here in front of you guys to talk about something which is very close to my heart, which is identity. So this word identity, what comes to your mind when you hear this word identity? If I was sitting there, someone would ask me a question, I would think about it. The first time in life we ever hear the word identity is, when I think about it, is when we were little kids and we were presented with an identification card, ID card. That is the first time I heard the word identity. And on your ID card is always written your name, your date of birth, how to find your parents if you're lost, and where you came from and everything. So this is the first time we actually hear the word identity. And uh, when a mother would sit their children down, she would tell him that, okay, so your name is Rahul, you are 5 years old, your father's name is Suresh, and your mother's name is Premlata. This is your identity. When you go to your teacher and she asks you, you tell this. And the child would go back home, think about, yeah, my name is Rahul, I'm 5 years old, my mother's name is Premlata, and all the way from the home to the school, that child would keep remembering it. And once he finally sits in the class and teacher asks him, okay, stand up, can you tell us a little about yourself? And the boy would be like, I am 5 years old, my name is Premlata, my father's name is Rahul. He would mess it up. So that is the first time we actually hear the word identity. We are given an idea of identity that you are where you were born, your identity is who you belong to, who you pray to. Your identity is what's your age, your identity is how you look, your identity is where you come from. What if I tell you all of this is just wrong? We've been falsified. We've always given this false information about identity. Our identity is not this. Our identity is something that comes from within. Our identity is our own consciousness. Our identity is something that is derived from our experiences, from our aspirations, from our moments in life. Our identity is something, okay, I will give you a better example. Our identity is when you close your eyes, imagine yourself as a third person. Imagine yourself standing on a pedestal and imagine yourself looking from a third eye perspective, from someone else's point of view. What do you see? How do you see yourself? When you're standing on that pedestal, what are people thinking of you? How are people pursuing you? And where do you see yourself standing? When you close your eyes, you think about it. That is your identity. What you personally feel, where you see yourself when you wake up in the morning and you see in front of the mirror, what do you see? When you sleep in the night, close your eyes and think about yourself, the day that you've had. What do you feel about yourself? That is identity. That is your real identity, your own conscious. And identity is something that with time, gradually you develop. You make it your own. I'll give you a little example. There's a boy in Maharashtra, his name is Ansar Sheikh. His father was an auto driver, and he's been always told in his life that your identity is that you're an autowala's son. Your identity is something that if you do really good in life also, what better you can do is become a little better autowala. And if you become a little better autowala, that means that you have achieved everything in your life. So that is what Ansar Sheikh was told. But Ansar Sheikh closed his eyes and he thought and he looked at himself from a third eye perspective and he realized, no, that is not where I see myself. This is not what I want to do. This is not what I want my identity to be associated with me. No, absolutely not. And that boy worked so hard, that today he is an IAS officer somewhere. And why did this happen? Because he was ready to put up a fight with the identity that everyone else thought was right for him. Again, in a small town in UP, there's a boy called Ankur Tripathi. His father, being a farmer, he was also told. He was told that your identity is going to be of a farmer's son. If you do really good in life, you'd probably know a little more about fertilizers, probably be a little better farmer. But again, Ankur was not ready. When he closed his eyes and he looked at himself from a third eye perspective, he realized this is not what I want to do. And eventually, that boy worked so hard that he cracked UPSC twice, and today he is also an IAS officer. What was common thing between these two people, these two boys? The common thing between these two people was that they did not resonate with the idea of identity that was provided to them on a table. They thought, no, this is not where I look at myself, this is not who I want to be. And they fought it. They fought it with tremendous hard work. They fought it with tremendous day and night working so hard. But they fought it. And today they are doing something which actually they can stand up and say that this is my identity. Let's not go that far. Let's come a little close. And my parents wanted me to be an engineer. And if I was an engineer, I'd be a pathetic engineer. You'd hear news that a pull got broken down or an iPhone that is not updating because some lazy engineer doesn't want to do his job. That would be me. And I told my parents I don't want to do it. I can't. But because that was the identity they saw, because my parents being Kashmiri Pandits, in our culture, if a boy is born, and used to be like this, if you're not a doctor or not an engineer, you're not good for anything. So that is why my parents also thought that I'll be an engineer. But when I closed my eyes, when I saw myself from a third eye perspective, you know what I see? I see walking in slow motion, like a hero. I'd see saving a heroine from 5-8 goons. I see beating bad people and standing up straight without a mark. That is something that I used to see. And of course, that is not what my parents saw for myself. I saw that identity and I was like, okay, my reality is very different from my identity, and how do I make this? And eventually I went up to my parents and I told them I was in the 9th grade, and I went to my mother being a home science teacher herself. I told her that I want to study Shakespeare, I want to learn to write, I want to learn poetry, I want to learn about romantic novels, I want to do Shakespeare, I want to do drama, I want to do this and that, and this is what I want to do. And my mother looks at me straight in the eye and she says, I always thought you were gay and now you proved me right. Imagine my own mother in my own house telling me this when I tell her what my identity really resonates with. But that didn't stop me. That didn't stop me at all. That made me more hungry for proving everybody that I am this person that I see. I worked really hard. And when I say I worked really hard, I don't mean that I sat in the classroom and studied really hard, because that was very hard. I did all the extra curriculum there was in my school. I chose and opted for all the things like group discussions, skits, debate competitions, anything that could keep me out of my classroom, I did. That's it. Which actually felt a little more closer to my identity. I kept doing it. I kept doing it day and night, day and night, day and night. So much so that I remember I was in the 11th grade and I did not have money for auditions. My sisters had started working, so I used to borrow some money from her and, wash my face twice in the morning, carry a Fair and Handsome with me, and once I reach the spot in a bus or something, wash my face, put the cream, and then go for an audition. Like that is this is the hard work that I was talking about. So this is what I did, and somehow I just kept going here and there with my identity, trying to prove myself, but I didn't get a chance. So no one took me seriously. So one fine day what happened was, I was in Connaught Place, it's in Delhi, and I was with my friends, I was skipping. And I saw these two gentlemen with a camera. They walked right at me and they told me, "You've got a good face. Do you want to act?" And a jolt of thunder inside my body I felt, because finally, first time, I got an opportunity which I was craving for. And I told them, "Yes, of course, tell me, what can I do?" And they took an audition of mine on that street only, and I got casted. I did an advertisement for a shoe brand called Khadim Shoes, and I got paid 2,000 rupees for that. I still remember those 2,000 rupees I spent very wisely. And for the first time in life, when I was in front of the camera, I felt that this is where I belong. I felt I'm much closer to my identity than I've ever been. And with time, and when my parents actually, that advertisement came out and in the news my parents saw it, for the first time they thought, "Oh, our boy is not kidding. Okay, he can probably do something." That's when they started doubting their sort of identity. And then I did a couple of ads in Delhi. I finished my degree and I went to my parents and I told them, I gave it to them. I said, "This is what you wanted. I studied because you wanted me to. Now, this is for your identity. Give me 1 year of my life. Just 1 year. In this 1 year, let me go to Mumbai. Let me try my things. Let me find my own identity. And if 1 year I do not find my identity, I'm not going to be crazy and be there for like 20 years struggle of my life. I'll come back. I'll do a job in PR. But please give me that 1 year to find my identity." Surprisingly, they said yes. They said, "Okay, you get your 1 year, you go and do yourself." I came to Bombay. I gave a lot of auditions, and with God's grace, it was not very difficult to find work. I did a web series as a negative lead first, and then I did a reality show called Roadies. And after that, I did a TV show called Kumkum Bhagya, and life changed, life skyrocketed. And now, कहते हैं ना, किसी चीज को अगर आप दिल से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उसे तुमसे मिलाने की कोशिश में लग जाती है. बिल्कुल सही कहते हैं. In my reality, I was not just walking in slow motion. I was running in slow motion. I was not romancing with one heroine. I was romancing with two of them. I was not beating 5 goons and standing. I was beating 10 goons and standing. And actually, what I had anticipated my identity to be, my real identity became much, 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 much more than that. And my parents couldn't have been more proud. Everything worked out in the end. So the moral of the story, and moral of all the stories that I've said, is that when you find that identity of yours you think you want to do, when you find that identity and it resonates with you, and you feel like this is where you want to see yourself, you just have to, the solution is that you just have to work honestly towards it. That's it. You just have to put in the right form of intent. You just have to put in the right form of hard work. You just have to put in the right amount of concentration on that. And eventually, it's a very big universal law that anything you focus on expands. If you focus on bad things, the bad things will start to expand. If you focus on good things and great things will start to expand. So what we have to do is we have to just keep concentrating on what we want and where we see ourselves. And God will open the doors for you. You will be judged on the basis of your hard work and your intent and how clear are you with your goal. And in the end of the day, this is something that I can give in writing. If you are unable to find your identity will come and find you. And I think that's it. Thank you so much for your time.